I felt my eyes was just twirling in my body, like just spinning in every direction, and like you lose control, like you became paralyzed, couldn't even move.
Born and raised in Port Arthur, this man, who doesn't want to be identified, says he tried synthetic marijuana for the first time about 4 years ago. He says he felt out of control while the substance was in his system, but sadly he reached for the dangerous drug again the very next weekend.
Every time we would drink, we would go looking for that same stuff.
The Port Arthur man says his battle with drugs started in school. He bought his first joint between classes.
I thought it was pretty cool. And then I tried it and I obviously liked it, and it just became an addiction to me.
The man says marijuana would relax him, but drug tests at his refinery job led to experimenting with synthetic marijuana. Candy Vincent, a counselor at the Spindletop Center in Beaumont, says she hears the same excuse from clients at work.
People that on probation and parole were smoking it to get past their POs and to still be able to get high.
Now the substance is banned under the Synthetic Drug Abuse Prevention Act of 2012, but the National Institute on Drug Abuse says manufacturers started tinkering with the recipe in an attempt to stay one step ahead of the law. The chemicals being used to produce the potpourri are wreaking havoc, even recently sending dozens in Southeast Texas to the hospital. Area law enforcement isn't backing down, determined to stamp out synthetic drugs in our area. Lumberton is just one city that's enacted an ordinance giving police the right to arrest anyone in possession, selling, or making any form of synthetic drugs. But even with real trouble being a real possibility, the area is still seeing people reach for the fake smoke.
An addict will use drugs to escape what they're feeling or escape life.
Vincent says don't be fooled. There is a test for synthetic marijuana, and GISA Global Solutions offers that test. The assistant manager says usually companies call for it following an accident, but some of them require it for new hires. Vincent says generally people stop smoking marijuana so they don't fail a drug test, but the counselor says risking your life to possibly pass a drug test just doesn't make sense. The Port Arthur man, who had reached for substances to relax him in the past, says it wasn't until he found himself in the hospital that the partying and using the fake weed came to a screeching halt.
They had already gave the news to my parents that that I might not make it throughout the week.
The man says heart-related problems almost took his life, and after meeting with a group of pastors and pledging to turn his life around, he says it wasn't too soon. He says he's glad he left the partying scene before really losing his life. And the man says he's found a new way to relax. He says fishing is the new highlight of his weekends. Leah Durain, 12 News HD.